What is up, everybody? Good morning, good morning, good morning. Dr. Vibe here, host and producer of the award-winning Dr. Vibe show, the home of Epic Conversations. And I'm the host of Epic Conversations 2020 Best Podcast News Award winner, 2018 Innovation Award given out by the Canadian Ethnic Media Association. Also, host of the only online broadcast in the world for dads and fathers that's sponsored by Dove Men Care, also co-sponsored by Dad Central, Canada's national father organization. And one more thing, I am the board chair of the Global Food and Drink Initiative, which is whose goal is to amplify Blacks in the diaspora that are doing their thing in food, wine, and travel. And I'm joined, as always, well, most of the time when he has time, by Ryan Oneil Knight. What's going on, Ryan?
Hey, I'm doing very well, Dr. Vibe. And for those that don't know me, my name is, as Dr. Vibe said, Ryan Knight, one of the co-founders of the Afro-Caribbean Business Network, and also a founder of my own social enterprise called the Detailing Knights. We provide mobile waterless car cleaning services and work with youth in the community to teach them entrepreneurship. And I feel like that's why the Afro-Caribbean Business Network is so important, because we found when students were graduating our program, there were no local Black-focused business organizations to plug them into to help them continue their entrepreneurship journey. And even for myself, I was looking to franchise and expand outside of Ontario. And there wasn't really an organization that specialized in scaling companies. So we sat around a table and figured out how to create the entity ourselves. And today, if you're watching today, May 7th, we are doing a full session about all the funding for Black entrepreneurs that are coming out, that are currently available. So these are the type of things that we do: find the opportunity, do the info session, and figure out how to get you the info.
Excellent. And what we're doing here today, you heard, see what we do separately, but we do the morning vibe, and it's right now twice a week, Monday mornings and Friday mornings. And we're just bringing people that you should know about, really 100%. And truly. And if we don't bring someone, we just chop it up ourselves. But we have another special friend, or a new friend to me this morning. Ryan knows this gentleman. But it's interesting that there are people I talk to who's saying, gosh, I'd like to get some renovations done. And first of all, they can't find anyone because apparently during a pandemic, contractors are busy, which is an interesting contrast. But then when specifically when people say, like, I'm looking for a Black person to do some stuff on my house or around the yard, they can't find anybody. So, yes, of course, Ryan Oneil Knight comes to the rescue. We got someone on today to rescue you if you're looking for a Black person in the Toronto area, maybe in Canada. I don't know how wide or big this organization is. So, Ryan, who do we have with us today?
National. And it was interesting because you asked me a question. Well, actually, you made a recommendation. You're like, you know what? There needs to be an entity or an organization that curates all the good and upcoming contractors, so that if I need a renovation, I know where to go to get somebody reliable from the Black community. And I was like, you know what? One does exist. The African Canadian Contractors Association, led by our good friend Amari Francis. He's here with us today to let us know about why it was so important to put together this organization and the goals of the organization. I feel like it does touch on one aspect of finding great contractors, but it does have a much bigger vision. So thank you for joining us this morning, Amari.
Hey, how are you guys doing? Thank you for inviting me.
Outstanding. But okay, so I want to get a little bit. What's your background?
So I am a licensed carpenter by trade. I've done a lot of industrial work, residential and commercial work, and entered into the engineering field doing transportation, infrastructure, construction. And recently we got together with a few contractors, and we decided to set up an association for Black contractors. We'd like to service homeowners, Black homeowners, all homeowners from all over the nation, as well the industry itself. There's a crunch for labor in the construction industry, and we're also there to support that.
So further question. Now, most parents who are Black do not think of getting into this profession. So how did you share some of your story about how did you get into this profession? And what was your family's reaction when you made that decision?
Let's see. I actually wasn't intending on taking this on as a profession. I liked it as a young man, as a hobby. You know, as a kid watching the renovation shows before HGTV. There was a renovation shows. You know, you think coming from our backgrounds where we're not as affluent, we imagine what it'd be like to have a home and make it larger and put a pool there, right? So we had those aspirations. What ended up happening is the Ontario Works, they had a program to get youth into construction and into the unions. And it was a paid program and it took 6 weeks. You went through a contracting course or a construction course. And then if you're successful, you'd be entered into a pre-apprenticeship through the union. And so I took that avenue. I didn't like it at first, to be honest. My parents didn't necessarily like it either. But as you continue with it, there's a certain clicking point. Once you start to understand it and it's not so foreign, you begin to see where you fit in it, and then you begin to enjoy it. And as soon as you're very good at it, you know, the employers recognize when you're good. This is something I learned from an elder of mine. He said, excellence overcomes all adversity. As soon as you get to the point where you're excellent, you know, the opportunities come at you from all directions.
Yeah, you're calling the shots.
Yeah, and it's very good pay. I mean, you can make a six-figure income, and you know, there's so many different areas of construction, and this is something important for a lot of the parents to understand. You might enter in on the ground level as maybe on the tools or on the labor, and as you develop your skills and your awareness of how the industry works, you could go into safety, you could go into supervision, management, planning, engineering. I mean, there's an entire industrial complex within the construction industry. So, I mean, there's a couple examples.
Yeah.
There's paramedics within the construction industry. There's doctors. There's physiotherapists. There's logistics, airports. I've been on construction sites where they have, you know, their own fire stations, their own, you know what I mean? Their own airports, their own customs.
What?
Yeah, construction is an entire nation within a nation.
It's its own sector.
Absolutely. Yeah, and even looking around, like everything that you see infrastructure wise was built by someone. Like nothing just appears on its own. And again, like you mentioned, being in the construction industry, and again, they need lawyers, they need accountants, they need all different admin type areas of specialty. But with your organization, are you going to like, what industries do you focus on? Or is it like complete construction industry, contractors, developers? Where are you going to be focusing?
Well, at the beginning, we're getting contractors right now, and most of the black contractors um, from the GTA, most of us are in the residential and the commercial sectors. So that would be, you know, doing retail stores or shopping malls. So in your initial stage, that's where we are going to be providing the most assistance to the industry and homeowners. But following along with a lot of the experience that there is out there for black people within the as workers within the construction industry, many of them will be transitioning over to business owners. And once they're ready for that transition, they may be in industrial environments or they may be in infrastructure environments. And as they grow their businesses, we'll be there to support them to take on those opportunities as they present themselves.
How did the organization come about, and how long has it been around for?
Okay, so it's a newly launched organization. We officially got founded in September of 2020, but we have a longer history that goes back about 3 years. Uh, so there's another community organization called TCBN, the Toronto Community Benefits Network,
Yeah.
and they work together with the government as well as many of the labor unions and organizations to ensure that uh, Black youth that get involved and members of minority communities get involved in the construction industry. And there are certain agreements that were made that also involved business opportunities for the Black community in construction. And there wasn't exactly a body to aggregate all of those different businesses to make sure they're aware of these opportunities. And so, over the last 2 years, we've had discussions with various contractors and found a way to get them together and assemble as the association. So it's been a few years in planning. And, we're ready now. We're here.
Excellent. And that's why I feel like it was so important, because I remember we were working with Rosemary Powell. Shout out to Rosemary, doing the great work at TCBN and her team. But being able to curate people in the construction industry and the contractors was something that was missing. And so it was so needed to have an entity such as ACA. And now to see it kind of come to fruition and start to build. I'm seeing like Sefton, Spence, and Stevens part of your team, and they're really amplifying the message. And for yourself being in it's not just kind of a executive head saying like, oh, we need an association and let's find the contractors. It's like, no, this is built by contractors, built by people in the industry that realize there's a gap, and now you can create that entity to fill the gap. And we were trying to do the same thing with ACBN, where there was a gap for business owners. So we said, okay, we need to build something to fill that gap. Now, as you're starting to grow ACA, what gaps are you seeing that are I'll say like the priorities that you have to fill right away as you start to work with more contractors?
There's a few gaps. The demand is large. We're aware that there's a lot of dollars being put into construction spending, infrastructure, residential spending. But just on the renovation side, the demand is huge. And the contractors that we already are engaged with, they're already busy. Now, a part of what we try to do is help them grow their capacity. So even if they are busy, what would it take for them to actually, increase the size of their organization, hire on more workers, train more workers, find new apprentices? What is the back end management that they're going to need, or admin assistants they're going to need in the office in order to take on greater opportunities? So that I see as the gap, is where we have contractors that are they're very good at what they do. They've been doing it for many years. They see there's more opportunity, but if they're going to grow, now is the time. Now is the time, really.
Okay. We are going to take a break here. There's a lot more we're going to have to dig into in regards to this subject, because I have a whale of questions in regards to the industry. And also, we're going to have to talk about that R word, racism in the industry. So we're going to take a break, give Chris a little breather before we get knee deep and roll up our sleeves into this subject. So we're watching The Morning Vibe with Dr. Vibe and Ryan Oneil Knight. We'll be back in just a moment.
Hi, my name is Ryan Oneil Knight, the founder of Detailing Knights and one of the founding members of ACBN Canada. Our vision is to help unite and educate Afrocentric entrepreneurs so they can grow their businesses in a successful and sustainable way. We're helping businesses increase their sales and operations by providing networking, training, and consulting. So as a business owner myself, I found it difficult to find like-minded individuals, especially in my own community, that were doing things on a regular basis to help our businesses grow. ACBN Canada is that solution. We've created this community to surround your business with support to help you increase your sales and your profits. With expert workshops and masterminds to help keep you accountable, come and join us and really get to the next level.
Ryan, go ahead and continue the questioning, please.
Yeah, I am not seeing the screen. I apologize, but as long as you can see me, that's good. So Amari, we were gonna touch on kind of the racism aspect, but just before we get there, I did want you to talk a little bit about the team. So Stephen and I believe Sefton are part of your founding team. Could you explain, I guess, their roles and a bit of their background?
Okay, so Stephen Calendar, he's our president. He's a contractor that does curtain wall installation and glazing. So he's a glass installer. He does many skyscrapers downtown. So very very high detailed work. Very risky work, dangerous work, but it has to be done, and that's how our infrastructure is built. He operates a union company, and yeah, he was one of the first to jump on board and want to take the lead for the organization. Sefton Spence, he's the owner of Kubi Construction. Oh, sorry, Stephen Calendar, he's the owner of Bass Installation. Now, Sefton Spence, he's the only owner of Cubby Construction, and that is a commercial as well as a residential development company. Uh, they also do home builders, design build, complete fit outs. Um, Sefton, he's been in the game for a very long time. He's been very active in the community on many levels. He's done television shows, Divine Restoration. So
Yeah,
he's very
I know
seasoned.
this. Yeah, I know. I've seen him. I've seen him before.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and yeah, he has the charisma and to be able to carry us as a vice president. He's very good at making those connections, and we're glad to have them on our team at the executive level. We also have three other directors: Kamoy Francique, George Lloyd, and Brian Smith, and they all have their own contracting companies, and they've been working with us from the beginning, and it's really a strong team, and we're going forward. It's like I said, the industry is in need of contractors. Period. But there's
Yes.
also the added bonus that our community would like to work with black contractors, and the industry itself would like to work with black contractors, and maybe we'll discuss why as we get into the racism bit.
Yeah.
So, so let me ask, what is the scope of work that your association can provide someone who is looking for a black contractor? What sort of stuff? Like, for example, if I wanted to get my bathroom redone, is
Okay,
that something
yeah.
like what is the scope of work that you cover? Because you talked about skyscrapers. I don't know if anyone watching this needs to get work on their skyscraper, but I may need work on like my basement or
Yes.
my
Yeah. Not yet.
bathroom. So what's the scope that you cover?
So yeah, it does vary. I mean, there. The funny thing is, there's contractors that are doing work in all these different industries, and we're not aware of them unless we're on site and we see them. We're not aware, and then sometimes we don't even know that they are the boss or running the company because they're not always on site. So there is many black contractors from different levels. Now, for most homeowners, you're right; they're not looking for skyscrapers or for oil refineries or you know what I mean, for that kind of heavy construction. They don't want a tunnel for their house. But um, there, we do have contractors who do basement rentals. They do decks. They do kitchen remodeling, bathroom remodeling, full renovations. You want an addition on your house. You want to take a lot and repurpose it. Turn it from a residential unit into a multi-unit apartment complex. I mean, the contractors are there and they're busy, but we'll introduce you to them, and hopefully you guys can work out your engagement.
And I was curious, what would be the main benefit for a contractor or person in the construction industry to join ACA? Like, was it like what's that message that you tell to these people in the industry?
So the main thing is, uh, when you come to ACA, you need to have an idea of where you want to go, where you want to grow. Because at ACA, what we're doing is taking all of the all of the opportunities that we can find across the entire industry. On every level, we're very aggressive with that, and we're trying to put it in one place. So if you come in and you decide, you know what, I want to go after housing for homeless shelters. That is one of the dreams I had as a contractor. I want to do that kind of project. Then, we can help you go towards that channel. If you're a contractor, you saying you want to do subdivisions, we will make the connection with developers in order to give you access to that. Um, there is a lot that are coming our way from the industry that we're not even reaching out to. So if you are looking to keep your backlog of work, so basically work on deck for the next year or the next 2 years, join us. Let us know which work you're looking for, and we can direct you to those opportunities, and you can start bidding and preparing yourself for them.
I'm going to come back to what I talked about before the break, because one of the subjects I've heard for a number of years in this sector was racism. And a little sidebar story, one of the first interviews I did way, 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 way back was with a gentleman who lived in the Riverdale area of Toronto's western part of Toronto. And it was an older man. And he said that his father was Italian, his mother was white, and that his Italian father was involved in the construction industry. So he naturally took that path. And when he got into the industry, he was the only Black person in his union for 30 years. Now, I know it has changed a little bit, but I would be remorse if I didn't ask about the whole area and he said he had to do with a lot of stuff. And I'm just wondering, if racism is still prevalent in the industry, and do you feel it's still a barrier for Black people to get in the industry?
Yeah, good question. So, I mean, I'm coming in the industry. I've been in there about 20 years. But
you look 21.
I know it's good
20
water.
years, man. You don't look that old at all, man. What you doing?
That's part of the benefit of working out every day. I mean, an 8-hour workout shift every single day.
All right, helps, that's true. Right? You got it. You got it.
Right. But when I'm at work, I'm standing on the shoulders of a lot of the elder brothers and sisters that were in these construction sites. They felt the brunt of the racism back in the 70s and in the 80s, right? So it must have been extremely difficult for them, but because they actually executed and became very excellent at what they did, they kind of created a little wedge or a path for my generation to come in and start working on these sites. There is still the racism that was in the background, but they also recognize that even though they may not like Black people coming in to so-called take their jobs, they realize there's some of them that are really, really good. And that helps productivity. It might make the lazy other communities look bad, if they are lazy, the other lazy workers. But if it gets the job done and it keeps the company afloat, the company recognizes that and supports it. There's a lot of legislation that's been enacted and a lot of different community organizations that's gotten together with the help of the unions as well, to make sure there's equality on the work site. But there's always going to be instances of racism. If we want to consider it a barrier to getting into construction, it would be the same thing as us being able to drink at the same water fountain. We push past that, however we do it, and we get around it. The good thing about now is the demand for labor is so great that any company from the management level that has any racial undertones, they're going to get wiped out. They won't be able to last because they won't be able to find the labor to fill their, to be able to perform the work they're going after. So it's in their best interest. It makes economic sense to get rid of those racial tendencies on the job sites.
Yeah, and that is so important because, like you said, the gap in labor is so great that if we took advantage and said, listen, parents, and just like Dr. Vibe was saying earlier, look at this industry. There's hundreds of billions of dollars going to be pumped into infrastructure, and that's just in the short term. And again, infrastructure is like an infinite game. We're always building. We're always looking for the next, thing. Housing is going to be a forever topic. And now, if we told our children that this infrastructure, and I'm thinking like changing the stereotype of, I'm always thinking of how to like create positive stereotypes for the community and us being seen as builders. I mean, we were builders from before history started. And now to reclaim that and say, listen, we can really jump into an industry that is really prosperous and you can tangibly see what you built. Like, that's what I love about, and I'm not sure, and you can verify if this is correct, but Sefton Spence was part of the Tropicana building, and I think engineering building that project. So seeing a building that the community built, like, and even with Isaac Ololafe, seeing the Yorkdale building as you're driving by, Yorkdale on your left and the condo on your right, that is inspirational to me. Like, like technology is there and kind of that's in the background, but infrastructure is so tangible. So how do you, because you said your parents weren't exactly thrilled as you were going through. So what conversation did you have with them that made them, I guess, ease up? And like, what could we tell other parents about talking to their kids about getting into the industry?
Yeah, it's a difficult one. A lot of it is the proof is in the pudding. So for some of us, all we think of the end goal is money, right? But for some of us, it's prestige. And there came a point where when my mother needed, I guess she needed, we were getting a condo, and she needed her flooring done, and I was able to do it, which saved her a whole bunch of money. I gave it to her as a Mother's Day present for all you guys out there.
Happy Mother's Day, by the way.
Listen, right? We're not going to be able to. We're not going to be able to.
At the end of the conversation, nice segue. Good.
My wife is watching the show. She'll be like, "Oh, that could be a gift." No.
See? And,
better than flowers,
right? And that really, I think, allows a lot of us to recognize, the importance of construction in our daily lives. Another thing is a lot of those stores that our wives and our mothers like to go shopping at, the designer ones, I mean, when I started, it was about 18 years ago, I think we built the first Zara that was in Toronto.
Wow.
And, back then it was amazing, right? And there was a black contractor that was doing a large portion of that work that I was working under, and I was amazed, and that's what I used to brag about to my girlfriend at the time, who's now my wife, and other people, is to let them know there's a lot of things. I mean, we did the locker rooms for the Maple Leafs, and this was, they had a little renovation there, and this was 15, 16 years ago. So it's just getting used to the fact that, like Ryan said, everything, the whole world we walk through, that's not nature, that's not grass and trees, it's been built, right? So if you go to a nice church and you feel comfortable in that church, it was built,
I've got
a building fund. Sorry, let them build their own church.
That's right. Yeah,
we'll be building it ourselves. Sorry, go ahead, Dr. Pai.
No problem. We got a question from one of our very good supporters. Christopher Lawrence says, does AXA have any pre-employment programs for youth?
Okay, so at the moment we don't internally have one, but like I said, we partner with TCBN. They have a very good method of bringing youth into the construction industry, and they have connections with employers, also with other pre-apprenticeship programs. So for any youth that are interested in getting into an industry that don't have experience, the best way would be to go through TCBN.
Or they could contact you first.
And they could contact us. Right? Yeah, we can refer you. Yeah.
Okay. Speaking of that, are you seeing more, not just youth, but Black people in general, showing interest and getting into the industry compared to I can't believe this, 18 years ago. So
Yeah,
when you
yeah,
got in, I'd say
yeah.
more like 18 days the way you look, but are you seeing more interest and more people actually getting into the industry who are Black?
Yeah, it's been surprising, and you have to think of it not just as the GTA. This is Canada. We're very fortunate. We have a small population. We have a massive country. So I've been on work sites that it's taken me by plane 6 hours to get there from the
What?
GTA. And when I get off the plane, there's a brother there, right? And then I'd be like, I thought I was the first. I worked in the Northwest Territories in the Arctic where you're seeing snow
Where'd you
everywhere.
work in the Northwest Territories?
It was a mine. It was a mining operation.
What?
Yeah. So
And I thought I was the only Black person that I knew that had been. I went there about a
okay.
year and a half ago. But wonderful place though.
Well, there you go. You were there. A brother was there, right?
Yeah,
You get off
wonderful.
the plane, a brother's there, right?
Well, it was crazy because the thing that really one of the things that really caught me is that there's a large Somalian population in Yellowknife.
That's right. Yeah, we were north of Yellowknife
Did
about
not know
200
that.
kilometers, but
Wow.
yeah, even there was brothers and they're in the industry. And like I said, there's so many different aspects of construction where you would have brothers that are there that are paramedics. They're also some of them are chefs and they're supporting the construction workforce. Some of them are on the tools. But I would say there is a lot more Black females, women that are getting into the trades
Nice.
and owning their own construction companies.
Sorry.
And that's been surprising. And really, if you are young and you are Black, or even if you've already had other careers and you want to shift it, um, just take a chance. You know, if you find that you don't fit, then you can go back to any other type of industry or career. But take a chance and really don't just look at construction as swinging your hammer or digging in the shovel in the ground, right? I mean, there's a lot of that, but there's so much more. There's before you put a shovel in the ground, you have to scan the ground. You have to do drawings to know what's underneath the ground because there could be hazards. You could hit electrical wires. You could hit gas lines. So there are people who stay in the office, and there are technicians who drive around and go to these construction sites before the workers actually go there and do the work. Sometimes a project might be planning for 10 years before you ever see any action on the ground, right? So the industry is vast.
Now, Mr. Christopher has another quick question for you. What trades are new and up and coming?
Um, right now, any trade, just go for it. When I was, let's say about 10 years ago, there was a big push for HVAC. Um, and, you think it would have got saturated, but no, it's just any trade that you could think of, just go for it. With the amount of residential development, that could absorb all of the construction workers we have, I would say, if we go at the pace that we need to go to satisfy our housing shortage. But there is also the infrastructure. We need more roads. We need more bridges. We need hospitals. We need more universities. We need more industrial plants. There's a huge nuclear program that's going on. So if you're looking to become a carpenter, you will be busy for the foreseeable future. Electricians are always on demand. Um, Painters are always on demand. Drywallers, the residential will soak it up. Industry will soak it up. The sheet metal workers, you're going to be busy. HVAC, you're going to be busy. I mean,
we get the message.
yeah, everybody. I mean, and some are standard, but there's special ones like instrumentation technicians. We don't. You don't see it much in your daily lives, but if you go to a shopping mall, behind the scenes, there's a lot of instruments, sensors,
Yes.
reading what's going on and
Yeah.
controlling other
Yeah.
aspects. So controlling the temperature in other parts of the.
There's always there are always doors in that shopping center that are marked. And if you had a chance to open up and see what's going on behind them, like panels and things like that, yeah, there's a whole back channel in regards to that. So for people who are watching this live on the replay, we've got the website up there on the screen, what it looks like their front page, and also at the bottom the website address. So definitely we don't want to keep Omari much on because I know he's got a lot of things on the go. So any final comments either for us, Omari? And again, really thank you for this really educational, informative conversation.
I'd like to say construction is a part of our life, right? We should embrace it because right now we're in need for it a lot. And as the Black community, if we take advantage and grow with that industry, the construction industry, it will help us in the long run, our entire community, because a lot of our biggest purchases are in homes, and so a lot of our economic wealth will leave the community unless we close that gap.
Excellent. So any final comments you have for Omari, Ryan, at all?
No, listen, as you were talking, I was thinking, thank you for taking up this this work, because like you said, you're busy. Like all contractors are busy. Like the amount of work that's there absorbs all the labor, and yet you still were able to carve out time. And again, with your team, the other people part of ACCA, to form the entity and now support other contractors and other people in the construction industry. So just a thank you from our organization, from the Black community as a whole. And I know Rosemary really wants to, I'll say a thank you for her, but I'm sure she said thank you already. She's wanted to see this happen for a long time. And I'm really impressed that it's happening. And thank you for taking the lead.
Excellent. Yeah.
All right.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much, Saints. And we'll look to have you back.
All right.
Have a great day. So, Ryan, that was really informative. So now, taking the excuses out.
And that's the thing. Hey, they should create ACCA certified so that when you want a person to renovate your house and you go to their site and get it, hey, you know that they've been vetted. So you're not always worried about the stereotype of the contractor taking off on you halfway through the job. I feel like ACCA could really play a role in making sure we know who exists, and now we know that they're of quality.
Well, I definitely now have, once I get this contact information from you, I can definitely have a lot of people contact Mr. Francis, because there've been the things, well, I can't find a good, can't find a good Black contractor, or, they did so-and-so, this and that, and I hear more of the not good side than the good side.
And that's the thing. I feel like that's become kind of the stereotype where we can, and there's good people and there are some bad people. So how do you filter through? And a lot of times it's trial and error before. It's like you got to kind of see what happens, but we can really alleviate that. Sorry.
Well, absolutely. And it's nice now that there's an organization that makes it easier and is a one place that we can go to just get it. And they, I'm sure, have the approved contractors there that can be directed. So that is a good thing. Yes. And Christopher, thank you. Saying thank you, Dr. Vibe, Ryan, and Omari. Thank you for your continuous support. Ryan, so what's up for the weekend?
The weekend, so part 2 of the budget debrief is happening. So Richard and Keep Six, they did a session either last week or the week before, just with the community to talk about what was in the budget for the Black community. And I believe Minister Hussein is on this Saturday. So if you did miss the first one, or you want to learn more about what's in the budget for the community, tune in tomorrow, Saturday, May the 8th at 6 o'clock. Keep Six's Facebook and YouTube live will have it running, so streaming.
How long is he going to be on for?
Hey, if it's my guess, 15 minutes.
That's my experience.
But I'll see. I can see him staying for the 2 hours. I mean, it's a Saturday. He shouldn't have to run off and do it. But again, most politicians, they give you the 15, 30 minutes. So I wouldn't be surprised if it's around there.
No problem. No house hunting this weekend?
Oh no, that's on pause for now. We got,
Well, I have
a regroup.
I have a feeling that when you get the new house, I wonder who you're going to contact if any work gets done.
Listen, I have to ask Amari, can they just build a house for us? I will go find some land. I know Septon keeps joking about it. He's like, yo, let me know when you want to build a house. I think I'm just going to go find some land and get Akka to point us to some developers and build it.
Nice. Well, that is good. Well, folks, again, thanks for taking the time to watch this live on the replay wherever you are and wherever you're watching it. Just give yourself grace. And I am Dr. Vibe, host and producer of the award-winning Dr. Vibe Show, the home of Epic Conversations. And I am the home of Epic Conversations, 2020 Podcast News Award winner, 2018 Innovation Award winner given out by the Canadian Ethnic Media Association. Also, once a month, I host the only online conversation in the world that is for dads and fathers. That's sponsored by Dove Men Care and Dad Central, and that's something I'm going to be very engrossed in next week. I'm doing presentations and moderating discussions at the 4th annual National Fatherhood Conference for them, which is co-sponsored by Dad Central and Dove Men Care. So I'm going to be engrossed next Wednesday and Thursday in a lot of presentations. Recorded a great conversation about the myths and realities about Black fatherhood this week. Amazing conversation. So hopefully the gentleman will allow me to release to the public, but it was a game changer in a lot of ways. So been at it, but this weekend I'll be preparing for that. Definitely getting some relaxation and saying, I've got some work to do around the house. So I got to make some future plans to see who I can refer to. But other than that, live your life as a dream. If you can dream it, you can make it. Sometimes you have to get small to get stronger. Block assumptions, aim bigger, aim better, aim higher, aim wider. And remember, love, faith, and respect. Remember to give yourself grace. God bless. Peace well. Keep the faith. Walk good. And we will see you on Monday. Be safe, everybody. Bye.